Is your chainsaw just not cutting like it used to? Well, that's a dull saw, brother, and that's a pain in the rear. We're gonna show you the simplest way to get your chainsaw razor sharp again in just a few minutes. Let's go.
One of my favorite ways to sharpen a saw is literally on the bar. If you have a vise at your house or anywhere where you can go, sometimes I even have what they call a stump vise, a little thing you can pound into a stump, and then it's set there, and you can clamp your saw down, and you got a great spot to sharpen your saw. And it just takes a simple round file, just like this. And then I got the little fancy little wooden handle that fits on there nice so I can hold it nice. This one, I believe, is a 7/32, and I'm sharpening 3/8 pitch chain. If you're doing smaller chain, then a lot of times you can go down to like a 3/16 or even a 5/32. On this chain, if you get in real close, Kyle, we can see that there is a little mark there. That mark, or angled mark, is kind of the angle that you want to match with your file, right? So you're going to take your file, you're not going to go like this, you're going to go like this, you're going to try and match that line as you go across. Get the file in here, and I like to hold this side right here and hold it steady, and you want to go straight. Okay, you don't want to be doing all this, you want to just go straight. And I like to do two. This is a pretty sharp chain, and I like to bring it to the same spot every time. That helps me be more consistent.
Also, you wanna mark a spot?
Well, what I did, Kyle, if you go up here, this is the double tooth right here that are on the same side. So I always look for that. Or sometimes on chains, they'll have like a golden tooth, or they'll have a painted link. Somewhere on that chain where you have a reference point to figure out what you sharpened and what you did. And it's nice if you can get it in the same spot every time, because then you tend to be the most consistent. Consistency is key. And I would recommend, for those of you sharpening chains, don't wait until your saw is so ridiculously dull it can't cut anything. As soon as you start to have to push on your cut, your saw is dull. You're working your saw extra hard. So you might as well just stop, take a little bit of time to sharpen. It's gonna, in the long run, it's gonna be easier better for your saw and better for you. If you have to push real hard, you're more apt to make a mistake and hurt yourself or someone else. Oh, look at that, I made it all the way around. That didn't take that long. Okay, so then what I do is I go to the other side. What you're looking to do when you sharpen here is get a really sharp tip. This corner right in here, Kyle, so this corner right there, that little tip, that thing should like catch your finger. You want it to be really sharp. If you go back to this one here, you can kind of, well, you can kind of see it's just a little bit blunted, a little rounded. When that part gets dull, that's when your saw starts to cut not as good. There we go. That's that side. We're all done. Now this right here is a depth gauge for your rakers. Right here. I always like to check my rakers when I sharpen. A lot of people don't know about rakers. The rakers are what actually control the depth of the cut on your saw. So you can look down here. You could even run a file across. See, the file doesn't hit the tooth there, so we're okay for depth. But I'll be honest with you. This is a big saw, can cut a lot of wood, so I actually like to run my rakers just a little deeper than factory settings. This will give you that chain that kind of pulls you into the cut. And, you know, really pulls out nice thick chips. If you're sawing and you're getting really fine floaty sawdust, that probably means, well, one, your saw is probably dull, but two, the other main problem could be, especially if you know it's sharp because you just sharpened it, is that your rakers, which are these little units right here in front of the tooth, that controls how deep the cut is for this tooth. So if you lower this raker down, all you got to do is just grind a little bit off the top of it, then you will get a deeper cut for that tooth. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this is a raker file, and this one is pretty worn out actually. It's not going to take a lot off, but I don't need to take much off. I'm just going to do one pass. Take just a little tiny bit off that top tip of the tooth. It's just going to be a little tiny bit. Yeah, you can't do both sides. You have to do one side at a time. And these raker files actually have, if you look on the side of them, they don't have any file on the side of it. So that way, if you do bump into your tooth, it won't hurt your tooth. So they are special files.
Just a quick side note here, we're gonna put a link to that file that we're using right about here. If you're watching on your phone, if you're watching on TV, we'll put a QR code right here so you can just scan it with your phone. And if all else fails, we'll put that link in the old dust box below. So there you go, you have 3 ways you can purchase that file we're talking about. Back to the video.
If you go down too far, your bite will be too big and your saw won't be able to pull the chain through it, and it'll start hopping a bunch and it'll just cause a lot of problems. And I've actually ruined saws because the rakers were too low and it was too jarring of a motion, and it wrecked the bearing inside, the main bearing in the saw on the crankcase. One last tip to make sure when you're sharpening with a file. If you let your file ride too high, then you'll knock this kind of tip out. It'll be more flat, and then if that's flat, it won't cut. If you go too far, too low, you'll eat out the base of this and it won't have the strength to hold the tip. And it'll get what they call a hawk speak, where it actually gets kind of bent down and does this. And guess what? That don't cut either. So you gotta live in that sweet spot zone.
Earlier in the video, we brought up a small detail that could change everything about your chainsaw's performance or lead to some big problems. We're talking about those little bits that control how your chain bites the wood. If you get it wrong, then you're looking at some frustrating cuts, waste of time and money, and maybe even some serious consequences. We teach you this crucial step, plus some essential safety tips in this video right here. We'll see you there, brother and sister. You guys still here? Get on here, go to the next video already. Come on, get out, go on, chop chop.